Hello, Andrea Isabelle Lucas here. I'm the owner of Barre and Soul Studios and the creator of Bar Guild Academy online bar teacher training platform. Thank you to everybody who's been submitting your questions, and I wanted to take a minute to answer one of them today. I think this is such a great question. The Lotte Berk original content is intriguing, but is there a place for it in the current market? And what should I do if I want to offer it? So I want to take a minute to kind of explain the question, really. One thing that's happened since bar kind of went mainstream around, I'm going to say 2013, is that a lot of methods of bar have been invented, which is great. And a lot of these classes are great fun and a great workout, but not all of them refer back to the original Lotte Berk method. Lotte Berk was a dancer who originally created the bar classes that we call them today back in 1959, and this was a super chic kind of hip but underground thing that she used to offer in London back in the 60s and 70s. It was brought over to the United States in the 70s and kind of maintained a cult following here into the early 2000s until finally the Lotte Berk method as a brand kind of disbanded, and lots of other substitutes, I'll say, cropped up in its place. Well, in doing so, we weren't allowed to use the name Lotte Berk, so people just started to use the name bar. And I think when that became popular, a lot of people kind of just jumped on the bandwagon and said like, oh, cool, I have a dance background or I have a fitness background, like I'll come up with some fun things to do at the bar. So again, nothing wrong with any of that, especially if you're a trained professional who can offer something really intelligent at the bar. That's great. It just doesn't necessarily refer to the original tradition that Lotte Berk created and kind of the magic that she created with her method, and that was responsible for so many amazing transformations and results for so many clients of Lotte Berk in the UK as well as in the United States over decades of time. So fast forward to now, and this wonderful question, the Lotte Berk original content is intriguing, but is there a place for it in the current market? And what should I do if I want to offer it? So I think it's important to know that this doesn't have to be all or nothing. This doesn't have to be like a polarizing issue. There's nothing wrong with learning more of the original content and then still deciding to do some of the newer things that you think are fun, that might not be part of the original, but that you think make good sense from an exercise perspective, and you love offering them in your class. So you don't have to choose between preserving a historical method and using modern exercise science or using your creativity to develop your own classes. So really, Bar Guild Academy is rooted in both teaching you about the original roots of bar, teaching you a method as it was evolved from the UK to the United States and originally taught at Lotte Berk Method in New York City. I share with you interviews and learnings from my time studying with Esther Fairfax in England, who's the daughter of Lotte Berk and is still teaching into her 80s. And I also share modern exercise science and things like injury modifications and anatomy and things that really wouldn't have been included decades ago in the original training, but that we would of course include in a program today. So what we try to do in Bar Guild Academy is really capture all of that, the origins, the evolution, and really provide you and arm you with more information, with more facts, with more knowledge, more wisdom for you to be able to use as you see fit and as you choose. It doesn't mean you have to do all the original things. It doesn't mean you can't be creative. But I think that there's something to be said for kind of learning the rules before you break them and understanding the intention and the source material, really understanding the source, and then choosing what you want to do with that. I also think there's just a lot to be said for setting yourself apart in our industry as someone who really wants to take the time to delve into the original content and the history, as opposed to someone who just really wants to get a quick certification, because I think there's a place for that, especially if bar is just going to be something you want to add to a repertoire of lots and lots of things you want to be teaching, and you really just want a piece of paper or a certificate. There's a lot of programs that are quick, that are short, that will do that for you. And this one is really for, I'm going to say, like a bar connoisseur and someone who, really values taking a deeper dive and being differentiated as a bar teacher, as someone who has done deeper and more advanced studies. What else did I want to say about this? I think it is a huge differentiator for any bar teacher to be able to say that they've studied any of the original Lotte Berk content, or to have the opportunity to educate your students about who Lotte Berk was, what her method was, what the original intention behind the method was before it evolved into what it is today. And there's just something about taking your profession and your training seriously enough to do those deeper levels of study, and like I said, just really arming yourself with more knowledge, more wisdom, more material to be able to pull from as you infuse your own soul and your own personality and passion into your classes, to be able to express whatever lights you up and whatever is going to have the biggest impact on your community of students. So I hope that this helped to answer your question. I really do think there is just tremendous value and commendability to really taking the time to study the roots of our bar practice. And I look forward to answering some more of your questions here. Thanks for watching today, and I'll be back here with you again soon.